A pleasant evening to you out there. Thank you for joining us on another edition of Nigeria Now on Equa Television International. My name is Joyce Jakada, and joining me today is Sele Elisha Dashom.
Good afternoon, Joyce.
Afternoon, Sele. Like, I feel so proud to have you. You're waiting for what I was going to say.
You're like, I'm waiting.
Anytime I have you here, it's always a privilege. So thank you for joining me, and I trust that Nigeria Now, a lot of issues have been coming in 2023 election. They are right by going to vote, and the insecurity is not controlled, it might affect the election. Federal government have seen that Nigeria should not fear that it will still hold. And again, today we saw how on the papers Buhari is saying that I've fulfilled my promises to Nigerians on Boko Haram and even others. There's also resident doctors threatening nationwide strike. And I say again, why are we always reactive? Why is it that these issues cannot just end once and for all? And we have Nigerian presidency, not retirement home, coming from the presidential flag bearer of the Labour Party, Peter Obi. And CBN is also threatening to sanction bank over failure to load ATMs with new notes. My question is, who is monitoring that? Because yesterday I was at the ATM and then it dispensed old notes. And you know that the commencement of the withdrawal limit has kicked off already. So beyond policies, do we really have monitoring policies on ground to ensure that some of these things we are saying are being practiced or being put in place? Again, the CJN is saying that judiciary won't be manipulated under him. We hope so. The 2020 election is a time to know whether he would allow that or not. And then the Nigeria hasn't won war over insecurity. It's coming from Tinubu. That's following the attack on Edo train. And finally, there's also this coming from the World Bank saying that another recession is imminent in Nigeria and other African countries. So many issues.
So many issues, Joyce, and I think I would like to pick up or from the many issues you've mentioned. It's from what the president said about the fact that he has actually tackled the Boko Haram, and then looking at it, on one side is saying that he has fulfilled his responsibility, but then we still have attacks going on. Recently there was an attack in Kaduna again. Now, and then on the same page, we're still having the APC presidential candidate saying that we're yet to tackle insecurity. That is just to say categorically that we are still fighting this common enemy that we call the Boko Haram, regardless of who they are, whether they change their name, Herdsmen, ISWAP, whatever they are. We're still fighting insecurity regardless of what you look at it. And I believe at a time like this, where he's looking, most presidential candidates are trying to score him, because I know that even the APC are trying to score, the present president to see what has he done for the past 7 or almost 8 years that he has been on sea. Of course, we know that Boko Haram did start with him, but then this is not a response that I'm expecting the president to say himself. You're supposed to lead Nigerians to actually tell us, have you truly tackled Boko Haram? Because this is not about you. You didn't govern yourself, or you were not actually a leader over yourself. You're a leader over 200 million plus people. So of course I am expecting that the scorecard should be coming from the citizens of Nigeria and not from the president himself. It's one thing for you to say that you have done this, but it's another thing for the people you are ruling to come out and say, yes, you've done that. We're seeing him also today on the paper where he was saying that nobody can come out and actually like say blackmail him, that's talking about corruption, that he doesn't have any wealth anywhere outside Nigeria. Of course, these are still part of the scorecard we're looking at, but I'm looking, do you really think that I'm going to talk about you have tackled that one more person still have, and they were shooting anyhow? But all of that, we have to go to the root cause of various things, so also truly say yes, we've actually fought Boko Haram or fought insecurity to the latter. But then regardless, we know that he has done his best. We're looking forward to whoever is going to wear that should just know that he has a lot of work to do. So it's not just about mouth serving. We need them to walk the talk at the end of the day.
And I recall how that a lot of people queued during the 2015-2019 election to vote for the president following his promises, especially ending insecurity, because we know and we've always maintained that if there's no security, then there can't be social developments, because if people are not feeling the impact of what you're saying, then it will still amount to nothing. If we're saying we have tackled insecurity or fulfilled promises on Boko Haram, will the people in the northeast and every other part of Nigeria, northwest, actually attest to that? Are they still killings and kidnappings? Are they attacks? Are they still issues of unknown government, or we don't have it again? Well, it's left to Nigerians to actually decide on that. But like we've always maintained, the primary responsibility as provided by the Nigerian Constitution as amended section 14 subsection 2 is the security and welfare of the people. That should be like the priority of every leader at any level. So we look forward to not just seeing people talk, but do the talk, like you said. Well, quickly, let's go into the business of the day. The federal government assured yesterday that the general election will hold as scheduled next month. The Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, gave the assurance at the 17th edition of President Muhammadu Buhari's scorecard series from 2015 to 2023 in Abuja. The minister's assurance came in the wake of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC's) alarm that the 2023 polls could be postponed or cancelled if the growing wave of election-related insecurity across the country was not checked. Yesterday, that was the story we had from INEC. This is the report from Vanguard newspaper, that if the security is not checked, the 2023 poll will either be cancelled or postponed. And then Nigerians have reacted to it. A lot of people have come out to say, why will INEC say that? Is it today that the issue of security began? For since last year, like for so many years, stakeholders have been talking about the fact that this issue of insecurity it has to be wheeled out. If not, so how the president also came out to say that he's giving security agencies this number of days, weeks, month, end of December to ensure that everywhere is clear and then election takes place, and he promised Nigeria's free, fair and credible elections. And then just yesterday, less than 50 days to the presidential election, and people and forces to ensure that this election doesn't hold. And you know, the whole essence of democracy is to give the people the opportunity to vote for who they want to represent or the other. That means people have not exercised their rights. And so Labour Party have come out to say that we mustn't give in to anti-democratic forces that are trying to do all they can to stop this election from taking place. And then for APC too, like so the election should hold. And PDP too have come out to say that INEC shouldn't give APC opportunities. Administration will have to continue being on the people. And it is very important and accurate. And so all stakeholders, people that are bestowed with the responsibility to ensuring that the issue of security is being tackled, must ensure that this election hold. Adewale, who is a chairman of the Social Political Party, SDP, said that we've not learned from past postponements. This is not the first time. Yes, a lot of people have said that the election is being shifted by weeks. We saw that in 2015, even 2019. But if we actually learned lesson, then it's not supposed to happen now. Like I said before now, Sele, a lot of stakeholders have come out to say that, see, this issue of insecurity, if you don't deal with it, at the end of the day, this election is going to be like shifted or postponed or even cancelled. But we kept seeing how INEC have been talking about their readiness. So why is it that less than 50 days we're seeing that? Are we trying to say that this non-state act?
This call and response, because INEC said, yes, there's a threat to have the election. But I want to ask, why is it, it seems like it's becoming a norm. In 2011, we had it. 2015, we had a postponement. 2019, we had a postponement. Now we are going to get the ready and all of the security agencies to do all of that. So that is to say that the sister body that is supposed to work with INEC is failing in their own responsibility. That is the only way forward. And I believe this is where federal government is supposed to INEC, forgetting the fact that maybe our population, we can see how they are struggling with giving the not even send some of the changes we can see that INEC are facing. It seems as if the responsibility is too much, and that will register and then INEC will caution because the whole also in March. I mean, they're irresponsible rather than all these political parties coming out. What can you do in your own level to see that, and what needs to be done should be done in time? So I just look forward to the fact that we do not postpone this election. If this insecurity, security agency should work on it. If it is logistics, before the general election comes.
Nigeria is a democratic nation, and this election matters, and it must hold. Promise Nigerians that this election hold. INEC, well, you know, this has been, people asking the question why there are some kind of things that people are unaware of. And then for the security agency, if you're saying you are prepared, you're ready, why are we still seeing issues of insecurity all over the country? Like, if like at the end to go out and cast their vote to choose who they want to lead them. So what is more of ensuring that this 2023 election takes place as that security agency, I think they should be up and about. This is no time for excuse. Like you said, we will just become a joke to the world. Like, anytime things happen, what you always see is fingers pointing. INEC is pointing at security agents. Security agents are pointing at refs, are saying they are irresponsible. Probably voters card collection. People have talked about the fact that just shy away from the challenges that you are having and all of that. Like, when things happen, not continue this pointing of fingers. It's only make us look like a joke to the world. So this is time for all stakeholders to come to.
You don't get opportunity to actually exercise your franchise, because it's your right. It's not just about let us do this, but we need to we need to come to a point where you can card is in Lagos and you're in Abuja and you begin to wonder what happened. Is either the name is wrong or the picture is not the right thing. So just like I said, maybe the time we sleep on our responsibility, we sleep on duties, what we're supposed to do, we do not do, and then we leave it to one part of the body, and at the end of the day, we point fingers. If the president have promised us that till May 29th he will be there, he's going to give his life to Nigeria and also to the city, to saying that, are you going to truly stand to your word? Because I think what we're having, the problem we're having is misplacement of priority. We do not know what it is. INEC at a point in time when they even gave rules for some of the campaigns, we've not seen most of these political parties following it up. And I was asking why. There's supposed to be a fine possibly, or there's supposed to be a punishment. But because maybe you didn't do that, so these political parties feel they are high and above.
Look at
INEC
the verbal
body.
violence between the political gladiators.
Joy, this is what I'm saying.
Go to
and
social
so they're
media
supposed
and
to be,
see them.
because that is the only way that we will respect INEC when they say one thing. Because
to our viewers out there, thank you for joining us on today's look out for leaders who are responsible, are patriotic.